bought Sears. That's a tool. There are many, many, many tools. And I'm not going to make this whole show about capitalism and structuring of corporations, but Donald Trump is not in prison. Donald Trump has not done anything that I know of or that the government knows of that would put him in a position of scrutiny, under the gun, where possible indictments are coming down on him. That stuff's not coming out. I don't see it. I do see it for Hillary Clinton, but I do not see that for Trump. Now, things could change. Something could come up. Don't put all your trust and faith in one person and say that that's the person, that's the end-all, be-all, because they will eventually disappoint you. I had a great man say that to me one time. He said, even me as the pastor of your church, if you follow me and you put all your faith in me, I'm going to disappoint you sooner or later. It's going to happen. Don't put all your faith and trust in me. Put that in Jesus Christ. Put that in God Almighty. He'll never disappoint you. Human beings will disappoint you if you put all your faith and trust in them. That being said, Trump's going to do something that's going to make me mad. I know that for a fact. There's things that Ronald Reagan did in the past that have infuriated me and made me mad. But less things made me mad about Ronald Reagan. More things made me happy about Reagan in that time. Right now, there's a lot of things about Trump that make me happy, not too many things that make me mad. Ted Cruz, there's a lot of things that he says that makes me happy, little things that make me upset. I don't put my faith in either one of them. I don't put my faith in government at all. There's a lot of things about Hillary Clinton that make me upset. I can't really tell you anything about her that makes me happy. Not one single thing. I cannot come up with anything. And if you see, it catches me all the time. There's ads all over the place, all over the internet, articles and ads that will link you back to her website for an article. And the ad catches you 7 things that you may not know that a Hillary Clinton accomplished. Yes, there's a lot of things we don't know she supposedly accomplished. Well, if you click on that, it'll take you back to her website, and it will go through a diatribe, if you will, a litany of just objective, if you will, I championed women's rights. I spoke to the United Nations. I held the hand of a child. I fed a dog. I mean, really, it is that bad. Go look. We've already done a show on her. We did. It was a while ago, maybe a few months ago, maybe about 6 months ago, where we did a whole show, and the whole point of the show was to expose the phoniness of who she is. And I went through her website. It just destroyed it. Carrie and I just picked it apart and threw it away. It's absolutely insane. So recently I clicked on it, went back to her website again, just to see if anything changed. No, nothing's changed. It's all the same. It's all the same. She's championed people. Okay. So in this, and let me get back to where we were before. Tanya claims, that's the narrator, her show is Lunch Break. Tanya claims that the restructure was so complicated for Donald Trump, his restructuring of his bankruptcy. It was so complicated that even today, people don't understand. They don't understand, can't make sense of the whole restructuring, the complications of it. Okay, well, if that's not your business, you're not involved in that business, the people that are involved in that restructuring, whether they understood it or not, is irrelevant, because they accepted it and signed off on it. For us to sit here and look back 25 years ago or 20 years ago, whenever she's talking about, for us to look back 20 years ago on a deal, if you will, that Trump made, the deal that he made 20 years ago, and scrutinize the deal, it's just lunacy. You're spinning your wheels. It was in the private sector, and it was Trump's deal with the creditors and the banks. They all came together, However complicated it is irrelevant because they all said this is what we'll do and what they all agreed upon it. And Donald Trump himself is going to, if you will, get the best possible deal for himself. How would you not? If a creditor says that they would agree to 10 cents on the dollar, what are you going to do? No. Let me give you 50. What? What? Are you kidding me? So that's where she's coming from on this. She's like, he should have paid it all in full. Well, that's not what they agreed upon. Well, I tried to read what they agreed upon, but it's just so complicated. Okay, well then it wasn't for you, and that was their deal, and that's what they agreed upon. Okay. Now, there is a story, and I looked for it. I couldn't find it real quick, but during the bankruptcy or during the restructuring of the loans, some of the buildings that Trump did build, the subcontractors, and this always happens as I was a subcontractor for many jobs out in Los Angeles when I had my construction company. And as a subcontractor, you are the last person to get paid. What I always try to do is I always try to negotiate with whoever I was dealing with on getting paid some up front, half up front, something up front. And then I tried to structure it to where we would get interval payments throughout the way. Like by the time we get halfway done, we agree that at this point in time, if there was like this pond, we were doing a decorative pool, like a mirror pool out in front of a high-rise tower up on Wilshire Boulevard, and a lot of famous people lived there. Oh, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Anyways, it'll come to me. So a lot of famous people lived there, and they subcontracted me to come in and build this really huge, elaborate structure. It was like a water fountain with lights and different lighting and tile on the inside. It's just beautiful. And on the outside, it had their name, the Wilshire Estates. And so I was subcontracted to build the entire thing because that's just what I do. Well, we got some money up front, and then we structured a deal to where by the time all the concrete was poured, that would have been step one. There'd be another small payment. By the time all the tiling was done and the electrical was ran, that was step two. There'd be another payment. And then the final payment when everything is complete. So that's just how I worked. Well, a lot of times when you're working for big companies like this and you get real big as a subcontractor, a lot of times you don't get money until the job is done. Now, I wouldn't agree to that deal, and there's a lot of deals that I lost, that I walked away from. I left on the table, if you will, because there wasn't upfront money. Anyways, during this restructuring of this deal, a lot of the subcontractors didn't get paid. And whether that was Donald Trump's doing, whether that's the bank's doing, whether that's the individual companies that were working on the project, I don't know whose doing it was. I'm not involved in that. That's what happens. And that's what happened then, and that does happen currently now. However, there is a story out there. There was a small subcontractor. It was one man, one shop. It was a family-owned small shop, and he worked on this job. It was one of the largest projects he'd ever done. He was into it for, $750, $1 million, $2 million, small chump change for the whole project, but big money to them. He wrote Donald Trump a note, and in this note, he explained what would happen to him and his family if he didn't get paid. Now, a subcontractor, at the end of the year, if they don't get paid for a certain amount of jobs, they can write that off in their taxes. Well, if the amount of money is so large that you can't write that off and that you need to file bankruptcy on that, okay, that's one thing. He wrote this letter and told Trump that it would bankrupt his company, he would be out of business, and his family would have to find another house to live in, another place to live in, and he just couldn't do it. And he, in the letter he wrote, I heard you're an honorable man. I really wish and hope that you do the honorable thing. I did this. These are the receipts. This is the money that I am out. This is what I demand to get paid, or this is what I need to get paid. And the funny thing is that Donald Trump wrote a personal check to that man and paid that man. That's the story you don't hear about. There's also another story where there's a limousine driving down the road, and they had a flat tire that was pulled off the side of the road, out in the middle, wherever. And the limo driver was out there kicking the wheel around and had the trunk open and just wasn't making it work. Some guy in a pickup truck come along, stopped, pulled off the side of the road, pulled up behind the limo, and offered to help and put all this back together, get you going, get you on the road. And the window of the passenger in the back of the limo came down, rolled down, and it was Donald Trump. And the good old boy, Anytown USA, the redneck, the country folk, the all-American kind of guy that Hollywood loves to make fun of, that guy. He noticed Donald Trump. He said, oh, Donald Trump. Hey, man, don't you worry. We're going to get this taken care of, get you on your way. Wherever you got to be at, it's probably more important than where I got to be at, so don't worry about it. Let me get you fixed up. Let me help you out and get you on your way. Trump offered to pay him a large sum, offered all kinds. The guy said, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's just a tire. We do it all the time. Let's get this thing going. Hooked him up, fixed him up, got the car on its way. Apparently, the driver got information of said American, John Q. Public. Got some information from him to find out who he was. And within a month, I think it was either within a certain amount of time, the man went to pay for his monthly, mortgage note or whatever, and the bank called him and told him and said, you've overpaid. And he said, what do you mean I've overpaid? They said, no, your house is paid off. Why are you still paying us? Apparently, Donald Trump went and paid the guy's house off. I don't know how much it was. Might have been $30,000, might have been $10,000, might have been whatever. I have no idea what the amount of money was. But apparently, he paid that house note off for that help. I'm telling you, the stories that I have heard, Donald Trump is not this bad guy that they want you to believe he is. I'm not saying he's the perfect guy. I am not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that he's not going to let me down, because probably will. However, at this point in time where we sit at in America, we need something. We need something desperate. There's no question about that. We're on the edge of a precipice ourselves. Anyway, so at the end of this interview, where she's talking with Peter Grant from the Wall Street Journal about Donald Trump, at the end, she says to him, what's the takeaway? So let me play that clip real quick, and she'll say it, and she'll kind of give her little spiel, and then Peter will chime in. So here's the last bit of that of that interview. He's free and clear now.
Oh, yeah.
Free and clear.
Yeah, by a long shot.
Okay, so she's asking about the bankruptcy. They got into the whole bankruptcy and the whole, complicated portions of it. And so this interview, by the way, folks, came out last week on the 6th. 4 days ago. So he's free and clear. He's free and clear. You sure? He's free and clear. And the guy who, apparently this guy wrote a book on him, wrote an article on him, did some investigations on Trump and wrote a whole expose on him. So that's why she's interviewing him on this. And his answer, we'll hear it again. I'll replay it. We'll hear it. Yeah, absolutely. What? Almost like, are you really even asking me that? How is that even a question, lady? There, we'll play that again.
He's free and clear now.
Oh, yeah.
Free and clear.
Yeah, by a long shot.
So what's the takeaway here? Is he just so good at deal making that he is sort of able to work his way out of these problems? Is he also such a personality that he's able to convince people that the worth of his real estate is tied to him personally?
There's a lot of anger in that question.
Well, that's part of it.